Hi everyone, my name is Katie Peranzi and I'm a member of the Public Health Corps in the Division of Infectious Disease for Maine CDC. We work on vector-borne diseases or diseases carried by ticks and mosquitoes. Today we are going to review the mosquito presentation for school educators. During the next 15 to 20 minutes, we are going to learn about some mosquito biology, what mosquitoes look like, where mosquitoes live, and then we are going to get into the public health aspects of mosquitoes. So can they carry diseases? What happens if a disease-carrying mosquito bites me? And we are going to get into what is probably the most important part of this, which is prevention. So what do mosquitoes look like? Maine has about 48 different species of mosquitoes, but all mosquitoes have some things in common. They are insects, so they have 6 legs. They have wings. They have a proboscis. This is what they use to pierce our skin and drink our blood. They also have an antenna and have a thorax and abdomen. The antenna is what the mosquito uses to hear and smell, and the abdomen is the part of the mosquito that fills up with blood when they are feeding and turns a bright red color. Next, we have the mosquito life cycle. Mosquitoes require water to complete their life cycle. The life cycle consists of 4 different stages: the eggs, the larva, the pupa, and the adult. An adult mosquito will lay eggs in water, which will last for about 2 to 3 days. These eggs hatch into larvae, also called wigglers, which hang down from the surface of the water and use tubes to breathe. The larva stage lasts for about 1 week. The pupa is the stage of the life cycle after the larva and are encased in a cocoon. The pupa, also called tumblers, lasts for about 4 days before becoming an adult mosquito. The adult mosquito emerges from the pupa and rests on the surface of the water until it dries its wings and can fly away. Lastly, adult mosquitoes require a blood meal to complete their life cycle before they are able to lay eggs again. Again, water is very important for the mosquito life cycle as it is required to lay eggs, for the larva to hatch and grow, and for the pupa to emerge. So where do mosquitoes live? There are about 48 species of mosquitoes in Maine. Generally, mosquitoes lay eggs in 2 types of habitats: permanent water and floodwater. Some mosquitoes like bogs and swamps with an assortment of plants, and the water tends to be a murky brown color, like tea. This is the preferred habitat for mosquitoes that carry Eastern equine encephalitis, also known as triple E. The most common mosquito here in Maine that carries triple E is called the Culicida melanera mosquito, and it's areas such as this that they prefer. So areas of stagnant water or snowmelt water where the eggs will hatch and the mosquitoes will come from. Mosquitoes that carry West Nile virus tend to be container mosquitoes. These mosquitoes like artificial containers such as catch basins, flower pots, tires, buckets, or anything that might be out in your yard that hold water. They like stagnant, motionless, temporary pools, and this is important for mosquitoes because they lay eggs in this water, and the larvae stay at the surface of the water in order to breathe. If the larvae can't remain at the top to breathe, such as in moving water, they are going to die. This could also include natural reservoirs such as holes in trees. The most common mosquito in Maine that carries West Nile virus is called Culex pipiens. As we have stressed, mosquitoes need water to reproduce and complete their life cycle. Hang on to this thought for when we move on to prevention. So here we are going to talk about mosquitoes and people. All humans and animals exhale carbon dioxide when we breathe, which attracts mosquitoes. When a female mosquito senses carbon dioxide, she flies toward it. As she gets closer, she is attracted by the heat and moisture our bodies give off, and they can also see the person. So there are 2 ways for mosquitoes to find us. So, can mosquitoes carry diseases? Mosquitoes can carry diseases, and different mosquitoes can carry different diseases. If I was there in front of you, I would ask you to name diseases carried by mosquitoes. There are two mosquito-borne diseases which are endemic in Maine. This means that they are found here all the time. And the two diseases are Eastern equine encephalitis virus and West Nile virus. Triple E is one of the most serious mosquito-borne diseases in the United States. It has a very high hospitalization rate, and out of the people who get sick, about a third of those will die. Triple E is found mostly on the East Coast, whereas West Nile is found throughout the continental U.S. Maine was actually the last state in the United States to have a case of West Nile virus. We had our first human case in 2012. Mosquitoes can have different tastes, like humans can have different tastes for different foods. Some mosquitoes really like to feed on birds, while others may prefer to feed on reptiles or humans. There are some mosquitoes that don't care what they feed on. This is the transmission cycle. So humans are not the reservoir for Triple E and West Nile. Birds are actually the reservoir. So the bird will get infected with Triple E or West Nile virus, and the mosquitoes will pick up the virus from the bird when they feed on it. When the mosquito feeds on another bird, the mosquito will transmit the disease. Sometimes instead of feeding on another bird, the infected mosquito will feed on a horse or a human. Luckily, horses and humans are dead-end hosts. This means that if an infected mosquito bites us, we are not going to get enough of that virus in our bloodstream to infect another mosquito. So we can get ill from the disease, but we cannot pass that virus onto another mosquito. So what happens if a disease-carrying mosquito bites me? Often nothing will happen since it is common for people not to experience symptoms. When you do, the symptoms can be very vague. They can include fever, headache, body aches, and lack of energy. The symptoms can be from mild to severe. A lot of people will have a fever or a headache for a day or two, and then will feel better and will never know that they were actually infected with West Nile virus. But both of these viruses can cause encephalitis, which is the swelling of the brain. Anytime this happens can be very serious. It can put you in the hospital or even kill you. This is in very severe cases, not all the time. Symptoms appear 3 to 18 days after infection, and the symptoms can last for about 1 to 2 weeks. Unfortunately for these viruses, there is no treatment, only supportive care. So, how can I protect myself? This is the most important part. The best way to protect yourself from getting these diseases is by preventing getting bitten in the first place. So first, wear protective clothing. This would be long pants and long sleeve shirts to lessen the amount of uncovered skin. If you are completely covered, it makes it harder for the mosquitoes to get to your skin. Number 2 is to use repellent. This repellent is approved by the EPA for repelling ticks and mosquitoes. The 4 repellents that are approved for use on skin are DEET, picaridin, IR3535, and oil of lemon eucalyptus. We also have permethrin, which is approved for use on clothing and repels both mosquitoes and ticks. The great thing about permethrin is that it is long-lasting, up to 6 to 8 washes. Most of the disease-carrying mosquitoes in Maine are likely to be active at dawn and dusk. So if you can take precautions during these hours of the day, you are more likely to avoid exposure to mosquitoes. Being wary of sport schedules and playing out in the yard during these hours will decrease your exposure to mosquitoes that could potentially be carrying diseases. There are also a few things that you can do to make your yard safer. To protect yourself at home, check your doors and window screens to make sure there aren't any tears or holes in them to keep mosquitoes out of your house. There is also a lot you can do around the house to get rid of water-holding containers. Removing unneeded containers or placing them so that they will not hold water is one way to reduce the number of mosquitoes. Throw away any old tires, cans, bottles, or other containers left outside that might collect water and serve as a mosquito breeding ground. You can also drill holes in man-made containers to ensure that the water drains out. If containers must be there, like bird baths or pet bowls, make sure you empty the water out of them at least once a week so that the mosquito larvae in them won't have time to complete their life cycle. This is our Fight the Bite message. This is just a reminder of the things you can do to protect yourself against West Nile and Triple E. So again, wear long sleeves and long pants, use repellent on skin and clothes, take extra precautions at dusk and dawn, use screens on your windows and doors, and drain artificial sources of standing water where you live, work, and play. So this is all of our information. If you have any questions, we have a disease reporting and consultation line that is operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we also have an email address during the weekdays. We have our Maine CDC website, which has information on all of these vector-borne diseases, and we also partner with the Maine Medical Center Research Institute. They do a lot of mosquito trapping and are very knowledgeable about mosquito biology. Thank you for listening to our presentation.